Did the Canadian Prime Minister accuse a Jewish MP of spending time alongside swastikas?
Conservative Party members can stand with people who wave swastikas.
There's been a row on the other side of the Atlantic for several weeks now over a long-running series of protests against COVID-19 restrictions in Canada. The focus has been on a vaccine mandate for truckers, lorry drivers. In January, the government said all of them who entered Canada from the United States needed to be fully vaccinated against the coronavirus. Anyone who isn't has to quarantine for 14 days. It effectively means that if you're a cross-border lorry driver who refuses the vaccine, you can't do your job. Polls show that most Canadians support the vaccine rule for drivers, but as in all countries, a small but vocal minority are opposed to it and to all forms of coronavirus restrictions. And that's why a convoy of truckers and their supporters converged in protest outside Parliament, in the Canadian capital Ottawa and elsewhere. And they've been immensely disruptive. This bridge, for example, was blocked for days. On a normal day, it carries 1/4 of all trade between Canada and the United States. They called themselves the Freedom Convoy, and as with all demonstrations that gather momentum, they attracted people from all walks of life, including a few who thought this was a good idea. Nazi symbols like the swastika and the yellow star often appear in protests like these. We've seen it here in Britain. And it's only a tiny minority who think it's a good idea to compare temporary public health measures during a pandemic to the dehumanisation of Jews under the Nazis. But in Canada, the row spilled into Parliament, where opposition Conservative Party members have been attacking the government's decision to invoke emergency powers to disperse the demonstrators. And that's what this opposition MP, who happens to be Jewish, was doing when she was questioning Prime Minister Justin Trudeau last week.
Claims of an unjustified national emergency. So, Mr. Speaker, when did the Prime Minister lose his way? When did it happen?
Conservative Party members can stand with people who wave swastikas. They can stand with people who wave the Confederate flag. We will choose to stand with Canadians who deserve to be able to get to their jobs, who be able to get their lives back. These illegal protests need to stop, and they will, Mr. Speaker.
Melissa Lantsman demanded an apology. She said Trudeau had falsely accused her, a Jewish MP, of standing with a swastika. Trudeau refused to apologise. And the row has grown. There was this open letter from a group of Israeli physicians and scientists who call themselves supporters of the Freedom Convoy, who said the Prime Minister was trying to smear the protesters by associating them with Nazis. There was this Jewish MP from Trudeau's own Liberal Party who said,
I am also a proud Jewish woman who is the descendant of Holocaust survivors, and my family found refuge and support and a life in this country. And Mr. Speaker, we must listen to each other, and we must assure that no one in this House is standing with those who support white supremacy, who support Nazi views.
Then there was this Canadian Olympic gold medalist, Jamie Sully, who tweeted a meme comparing Justin Trudeau to Adolf Hitler. That prompted this angry response from Canada's Centre for Israel and Jewish Affairs, who said it was an outrageous, absurd, repugnant comparison. At the heart of this is a dispute over how best to manage Canada's latest coronavirus outbreak, which peaked at record high rates at the beginning of January. Trudeau's Liberals say vaccine rules are part of the battle. The Conservatives say it's time for the restrictions to go. And for the moment, Trudeau's side has won. The Liberals invoked a 34-year-old law that was designed for states of emergency and had actually never been used before, but it allowed them to declare the protests illegal and to get the police to move in. By Sunday, Canada's capital was quiet for the first time in nearly a month, and on Monday night, Canadian MPs voted narrowly to support Trudeau's emergency powers. It means the political row is over for now, but memes like the one shared by Saleh suggest the public arguments won't be over anytime soon.